You are live.
Thank you. Welcome to the May 19th, 2025 Annapolis Transportation Board. It's Monday at 7 p.m. and there are three of us. Taking roll call, pretty easy. Ed Bergman, Beth Dolezal, Tara Ashmore. We do not have minutes. I need to get the status of the meeting minutes, and I'll check in on that. Our secretary is not here tonight and had a work conflict. I know of no public participation that's been posted or brought to my attention, so there's nothing there. We had hoped to have a city council update on the status of the 5-year transit development plan. Karma O'Neill sent her regrets and is not able to attend. She has a conflict as well. Annapolis Transport. Yeah, Beth?
Sorry, I almost can't hear you.
Okay. I don't see anyone from the Annapolis Transportation Department for an update on the 5-year transit development plan, but if they join, we can have that. Beth, there were a few of us that read through it. Comments were sent directly to the council or to the committee if we had them. I thought it was a pretty interesting set of ideas, particularly the brown and the green line. And I wondered how instrumental you might have been in making sure that the fare free transit was brought up and continued to be.
I did. That's the reason it's in there, because I did bring it up. We talked about it more than once, actually. Again, Kwaku brought up the fact that, you had to find the money somewhere to change it, and they made it very clear that 8% wasn't a lot of the budget, but you did have to find it. I also, which they didn't put in, I gave them ideas of where it could be found from what other communities had done when I had been doing all, when we'd been working on it and I'd done all the investigation. So I did bring that up. I guess this just wasn't the place to put it, but they did mention it. We also, the TDP as a group, at least the ones that ended up going, again, people, filtered away, but the group that ended up being there, we made it real strong that we felt going down Riva Road, going to Annapolis High School, going to the county offices that are down there, and then there's a lot of regular offices down there and whatever, that down Riva Road was really important, that it wasn't being serviced. Annapolis used to service it, and then apparently the county took it over and they're really not doing much with it. So we really felt that's something that the city needed to really look at and work with the county on that. And I really think the plan, actually, knowing it because I was there, that plan is pretty complete as to what we talked about and everything. I thought it was done pretty well.
I just found it's very silly to have those questionnaires and those informal questionnaires when you've got hard data that really lays out what you need to do.
But they wanted information from the people that were riding the bus. The thing is, one of the things that I brought up that it just didn't happen is they didn't really go about really and truly involving the residents of Annapolis. You have got the Annapolis has so many ways to interact with the residents online, and with these, the push they push various information out to the residents all the time. There is absolutely no reason they couldn't have done that with the transportation information that they wanted and everything. And they could have had information all over the place where people could have filled something out or whatever, and they just really didn't do it.
Yeah, but
that's why.
Right.
That's why they had such a poor response.
But it's also it's very subjective, versus sort of the hard data on where people.
Well, they are.
Yeah.
Because it's desires. So it's subjective. But those are the people, most of them are people that are riding the bus. So it's how they feel about it. And it's how, it fills their needs, and stuff like that. So, but they really could have done a far better job on getting more information from the riders and from the general residents of Annapolis. In my opinion, that they could have, and they just, at first, they really did almost nothing, and then we talked about it in the meeting, and then they went out and did more. But they just really didn't go at it in a good way, and
Well,
that was something they would have to do
yeah.
before they really make some changes.
Bianca, do you know the status? The meeting was supposed to be last Wednesday and they moved it to an earlier Wednesday. So I was not notified of the change in date. So I don't know, did they vote on the plan or discuss it? Do you know where it stands?
I do not.
Me,
All right. So I'll look that up and send a note to everybody. I don't know whether our comments, can be presented orally at the next meeting or whether it's just too late. Sadly, that was sort of interesting.
yeah. Well, there was so much controversy over when exactly the meeting was going to take place, to where they were going to discuss it and where our input needed to be. And first it was like the next week, then it was, no, it's not going to be until June, and then it was going to be some other date. And that was very confusing as to.
Well, Kwaku chimed in without the proper, I think, knowledge on the time frame for the committee to discuss it. But then the committee actually was going to discuss it on the 14th and ended up moving their meeting to the 7th with no notice to the board. So, there were multiple missteps.
Yeah.
Bianca, I could use some assistance on knowing what flexibility we have with meeting dates. Both commissioning week this week, it's sort of a rough time for people in Annapolis. And then also we had a meeting scheduled on St. Patrick's Day, which is sort of silly. So I do find that our participation for the board is being hampered by some of the dates that were assigned. And if we took a good look at the calendar, are we allowed to move or propose different dates?
I'm sure. Let me get back to you on that one, but I'll get back to you on the flexibility of changing the dates.
Great, thank you. And also, I supposed I was going to ask Vince Harriman if he could actually run next month's meeting, so I'll get together with him on that. Beth, I don't know if you have any interest in representing us at the June Annapolis Transportation Committee meeting, but
What, do you know what date it is?
I want to say it's the 11th, Wednesday, the 11th.
I'll get back to you. I need to look at my calendar.
Thank you.
Oops, whoops. I also need to have a pen that works. I can write this down.
All right, and then just around the table, Ed, any topics of interest?
No, I do not have.
Thank you. Beth, anything else to discuss?
No, not me. The main thing we've been discussing the main thing for me. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, you put a lot of time in that. All right, no other business to attend to, and with a limited crew, I am going to adjourn the meeting. Thanks everyone for coming, and we'll catch up. I'll try to reach everybody before I leave town for next month's meeting and send out an agenda and make sure that Vince can run it. And if not, I'll look for a volunteer. Okay, thanks so much. Have a great night.
Okay, thank
Thanks,
you.
Tara.
Bye.